Although it is the world's second smallest continent, Europe welcomes more than half of all the tourists worldwide. In fact, 7 of the 10 most visited countries in the world are European nations. It's easy to see why. A well-preserved cultural heritage, rich history, safety, and efficient infrastructure makes visiting Europe a breeze. Here's a look at the best places to visit in Europe. Venice. Venice is for romantics who love gliding through the Grand Canal with a gondolier singing Italian love songs. This is, after all, the city that sent Marco Polo off on his journey to China. Start your exploration of Venice at San Marco Square, the city's most famous square. Here you'll find the Doge's Palace, the seat of Venetian government, and St. Mark's Basilica, the main church in Venice with stunning views from the tower. Venice also is famous for its bridges across the canals. Santorini. When it's time to sit back and relax, take yourself to Santorini, an island in the Aegean. Top travel magazines consider this a prime destination. Once there, you can't help but agree. The island has picture postcard villages, an active volcano, and stunning sunsets. Be sure to visit Fira, a village perched atop a cliff. You'll also want to sample wines, such as the dessert wine Vincanto, as well as the produce that is made sweeter and tastier because of the volcanic ash soil it grows in. Lofoten Islands. Lofoten is a group of islands in the northern part of the country. With its postcard-looking small fishing villages dotting a very rugged coast with abrupt peaks rising directly from the ocean, the archipelago is often described as one of the most scenic parts of Norway. Although the archipelago is located well above the Arctic Circle, at about the same latitude as Greenland, it enjoys a relatively mild climate due to the circulation of the Gulf Stream. Temperatures up to 23 degrees in the summer are not uncommon, although it remains a subarctic destination, and the weather changes fast. Barcelona. Founded by the Romans, Barcelona today is a bustling city on the Mediterranean Sea. As the capital of Catalonia, it is a powerhouse in the region. It is perhaps best known for the unusual buildings designed by the architect Antoni Gaudí. These landmark structures include La Sagrada Familia, a church that's been under construction since 1892. You could build your entire visit around his buildings, but then you'd miss out on other Barcelona delights, such as La Rambla, a popular pedestrian street in the central part of the city. Berlin, the capital city of Germany. Berlin is widely associated with its World War II history and former division of East and West Germany by the Berlin Wall during the Cold War, since the fall of the historic wall in 1989. Berlin today is now a vast, unified city, diverse in ethnic groups and abundant in sightseeing attractions, culture, and nightlife. Many tourists are drawn to Berlin's famous historic structures, which include the Brandenburg Gate and the Reichstag. Although most of the Berlin Wall was demolished, there are some portions still standing near Checkpoint, Charlie, and the Reichstag. Paris. Songs laud Paris in the springtime, but any time of year is a good time to visit this riveting city on the River Seine. It's a city loaded to the brim with history, culture, great food, and high fashion. The iconic Eiffel Tower is one landmark you won't want to miss. The Louvre houses one of the greatest art collections in the world. Its great churches include Sacred Heart and Notre Dame. When it comes to opulence, there's Versailles with its famed Hall of Mirrors. Lisbon. The Portuguese capital of Lisbon lies on the Tagus River along the Atlantic coast. It is this location that encouraged explorers to sail far and wide around the world in the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries. One of the things you'll want to see is Belém Tower, a 16th century fortress on the Tagus North Bank. If you're looking for good views of Old Lisbon, head to St. George Castle that was built on a hilltop by the Moors. Copenhagen. Located just across the street from Malmö in Sweden, the history and culture of Copenhagen has been intricately linked to the history and culture of the water around it over the centuries. Its strategic location caused sleepy fishing village to slowly transform into the cool, sophisticated, and thriving capital it is today. You can visit the coastline, canals, harbors, and lively cafes lined with colorful mansions dating back to the 17th century. You can also take wonderful sightseeing trips around the many historical wooden ships with open-air terraces and the natural canals adorning their shores. Amsterdam is a pleasant city marked with meandering canals lined with tall, narrow row houses. It is the city where Anne Frank kept her famous diary, so visiting the house where she wrote is a must. This Venice of the North also is a city of great art, beginning with the Rijksmuseum, home to great European masterpieces, Rembrandt's house, and the more modern Van Gogh Museum. Take a break from sightseeing to tour and sample Holland's beer at the Heineken Brewery. Rome. The ancient Romans established outposts as far away as Great Britain. They didn't ignore their home city, however, when it came to building great monuments. One must-see landmark is the Colosseum, an arena that could hold up to 80,000 people for gladiator contests. One of the biggest draws is a tiny country inside the city, the Vatican City, with its impressive St. Peter's Basilica with art provided by Michelangelo. Maybe you'll get a glimpse of the Pope at his Wednesday audiences. Madrid. Spain's capital and largest city, Madrid, is widely known for its sizzling nightlife scene. The city constitutes a diversity of ethnic groups, making it one of Europe's most colorful cosmopolitan cities. Located within the city center are most of Madrid's most popular tourist attractions, such as the Royal Palace, the residence of Spain's monarch. The heart of Madrid and Spain is Puerta del Sol, a large plaza serving as the scene of festivals, important gatherings, and street performers, as well as a hub for the public transportation network. Another important square is Plaza Mayor, known for the lively San Miguel market. English history buffs will have a field day in London. This city on the Thames is chock full of palaces, from Buckingham Palace to Hampton Court Palace. More a prison than a palace, the Tower of London is home to the Crown's jewels. And from Knightsbridge, don't forget to visit the magnificent food halls at Harrods, to Carnaby Street. The shopping is awesome. You can get around London quickly and efficiently by riding the famous tube. Lauterbrunnen. Waterfalls abound in Lauterbrunnen. This picturesque valley is home to 72 falls that cascade down the mountains. The most famous of these is Staubach Falls, which drops nearly 1,000 feet, making it one of Europe's highest waterfalls. The town itself is a jumping-off place for excursions into the nearby region. Framed by sheer cliffs and sparkling falls, the valley is a nature lover's dream, with lots of hiking trails, mountain bike paths, and rock climbing routes to explore. Its outstanding beauty and spectacular scenery make Lauterbrunnen Valley one of the most memorable places to visit in Switzerland. Prague. With a long history of war and destruction, the city is considered one of the best places to visit in Europe. Despite the devastation caused by the Second World War, Prague has a very beautiful old town that is worth more than a few hours. Prague has numerous pedestrian zones that make walking pleasant, such as near Prague Castle, the Jewish Quarter, and the Charles Bridge. Located in the new town, Wenceslas Square is filled with a vibrant nightlife and entertainment atmosphere. Stockholm. Stockholm takes the cake when it comes to beautiful cities, sitting on a sprawling archipelago within the Baltic Sea. The capital of Sweden comprises 14 different islands, all linked by 50. Bridges 1/3 of the area within the city limits is made up of water, while another third comprises parks and woodlands. As a result, Stockholm is one of Europe's healthiest cities, and a great place in which to spend some time. The Old Town features a stunning collection of ochre-colored, Instagram-worthy buildings. It also boasts iconic tourist attractions like the impressive Royal Palace, the masterful Cathedral, and the Nobel Prize Museum. Budapest. Budapest was already an established city when the Hungarians took over in the 9th century. Today, Budapest is the country's capital and largest city. In between these two events, Budapest was ruled by the Mongols and Ottomans, among others. Considered one of the most beautiful cities in Europe, Budapest is home to the Museum of Fine Arts with its collection of more than 100,000 works. Be sure to visit the centrally located Old Town with its many museums, churches, palaces, and parliament building. Dubrovnik. As European cities go, Dubrovnik isn't very big, but don't let its size deter you. This little jewel with less than 43,000 people is one of the most visited cities on the Mediterranean. Dubrovnik transports visitors back to a time when the fortified city was a major maritime power commanding the third largest navy in the Mediterranean. As you wander the streets, you'll likely come across sculptures of Saint Viejo, the city's patron saint whose life is celebrated every February. Krakow. This southern Polish city, close to the Czech Republic, is a former royal capital, with a seductive mix of medieval buildings and today's youthful nightlife felt here. Krakow is not only known for its old town, it is completed by the 13th century market square. You'll find the iconic Fabric Hall in the majestic centerpiece of the square, the old Jewish quarter with all its synagogues. Wandering around is dreary, and many tourists visit Krakow to make a trip to Auschwitz, an unforgettable but important experience. Istanbul. Istanbul may be on the outer fringes of Europe, but well worth a visit when you're traveling abroad. Turkey's biggest city is a fascinating place, filled with rich history, colorful markets, and mosques. Top attractions include the Bosphorus that separates Europe and Asia, Hagia Sophia that's been a Greek Orthodox Christian basilica, then an imperial mosque and now a museum, and the 15th century Topkapi Palace, also a museum today. Get in a little shopping at the Grand Bazaar that's been in operation since 1461. Vienna. When Vienna, the capital and largest city of Austria, is mentioned, the elegant Viennese Walters and Johann Strauss immediately come to mind. More than 200 balls are held in the city every year. But the city is also known for other classical composers such as Mozart, Brahms, Beethoven, and Schubert. Travelers can take a break from the music by visiting the Hofburg, home of hop masters, imperial jewels, and conspirators. A museum with an extraordinary collection of old masters' paintings. Vienna is also famous for its cafes, where travelers can rest their weary feet while deciding which to choose. Stonehenge. You have to marvel at the determination of prehistoric man when you look at Stonehenge. Construction started about 3000 BC on what was originally burial grounds. Huge monoliths, weighing 25 tons, were dragged 150 miles to the site a few hundred years later. It's not known exactly how many humongous rocks were moved to a field near Amesbury, but there are 13 standing today. It's also not known why Stonehenge was built, but many believe this great English landmark is associated with early astrology. Geirangerfjord. With its remarkable scenery of deep blue waters and majestic mountains, it is no wonder that the Geirangerfjord is among the most visited Norwegian fjords. When visiting here, a must-do is a sightseeing cruise on the fjord to view its astonishing beauty and its famous waterfalls, the Seven Sisters, which plunge directly into the fjord. Other exciting opportunities abound here as well, like winter skiing, excellent fishing, canoeing, and hiking trails that provide some of Norway's most dramatic views. Eze is a fortified medieval village with cobblestone streets and beautiful bougainvillea-covered villas overlooking the beautiful Mediterranean Sea, located 400 meters above sea level, and is a charming and very photogenic town with narrow cobbled streets leading to the top of the village. It takes a bit of climbing, but it's worth the effort. Once you reach the top, you will be rewarded with a beautiful cactus garden and a magnificent view of the Mediterranean. Make time to visit the old church, which is said to remind you of the old. Athens, a city that's been inhabited since the 5th century BC, gave the world the concept of democracy and is the birthplace of Western civilization. Many of the city's major landmarks can be found in the Old Town, particularly around the Acropolis. The list includes the Temple of Zeus, the Theater of Dionysus where Sophocles' works were performed, and the Parthenon, which sits atop the Acropolis. Interlarken used to be known as a watchmaking center, but today it's more popular as a tourist resort. Tourists started coming to Interlaken in the early 1800s to breathe in the mountain air and partake of spa treatments. Its popularity only grew from there, offering spectacular views of 3 famous Swiss mountains, the Eiger, the Jungfrau, and the Monch. The city is also a popular base camp for outdoor assetivites in the surrounding Bernese Oberland Alps. Hungry tourists may want to try raclette, a classic Swiss dish made from cheese.